Yeah, hi there. My name's Ian Small and I volunteer at Severndroog Castle on Shooter's Hill. And every day during the Severndroog Online Festival I'll be telling different stories about Severndroog Castle from here in the courtyard, telling a story for some of our younger visitors. Severndroog Castle was built in memory of a sailor from 250 years ago. In those days, ships had sails rather than engines, and it took a lot of people to sail a ship. And some of them were very young. The castle was built in 1784 to honour Sir William James, a sea captain who fought a battle in 1755. And it was not built by the government or the Navy or the East India Company that Sir William worked for, but by his widow, Lady Anne. Sir William came from a place called Haverfordwest in Pembrokeshire in South Wales. His father worked on a farm and in a mill, but William never wanted to be a farmer. He always wanted to be a sailor. And he finally got his chance when he was just 12 years old, when he went away to sea from Bristol as a deckhand. When young people visit the castle, we ask them if they'd have liked to have been a sailor in those days, and some of them actually say yes. It wasn't an easy life though. The company that William worked for used to sail to places like India and China, and it was a very long way, and it took 5 or 6 months, and just the occasional stop on the way for fresh water and lots of storms and dangers of pirates and so on, just to bring back things for rich people like tea and spice. The Royal Navy battled our enemies to keep the seas free for honest traders, and Britain was setting up colonies all over the world at that time, and so were lots of other countries, so consequently we had a lot of enemies. In those days the Royal Navy used to take boys as young as 9, and I'm sorry girls, they were only boys. It was considered unlucky to have girls on Royal Navy ships, and that's something that only changed literally in the last few years, that they've actually had women on Royal Navy ships. When the Navy needed more boys, they could just go and pick them up off the street. It was called press ganging, and it was perfectly legal. Boys aged between 9 and 13 who lived in seaside towns could just be picked up and taken onto a ship, and they'd probably never come home and see their families again. They would be given some of the most dangerous jobs to do, like going up in the rigging to unfurl the sails, and during battles the smallest boys were given a really unpleasant job to do, which was called being a powder monkey. And these were the lads who were small enough to run around the decks with bags of gunpowder. On a big naval ship in Lord Nelson's time, something like HMS Victory at the Battle of Trafalgar, it would have had 104 guns, and each gun had a crew of 5 men and a boy. And it was the boy's job to run down into the hold to collect a bag of gunpowder. They had to fire a cannonball once a minute. So if you can imagine what it was like in the height of the battle, and the decks were awash and slippery, and there were 104 boys making their way up and down with little bags of gunpowder. And the ship would be on fire, there would be sparks and things flying about, and you're running around with a little leather bag of gunpowder. And you had to be very careful how you opened it, because if you got a spark in your bag of gunpowder, you would have had a very short career as a sailor. Several novels have been written about boys who started out as powder monkeys, and in particular I recommend one called Powder Monkey, The Adventures of Sam Witchell by Paul Dowswell. It's the first of 3 stories about this character and a good read for older children. It's available on Amazon at the moment. And although it's a work of fiction, it seems to be very well researched. I think that these days the Navy is a rather safer career.